Hello, Americans, and other friends and subscribers around the world. Today we're going to sit down here and we're going to try a new, I'm doing the life hacks thing, which is another thing that the kids, or Kevin D actually came up with that one. And, I don't know, a while back, we were sitting around and I was telling stories, from days gone by and stuff like that. And the kids are all, man, Dad, you need to, record that or write some of these old stories down so that, when I'm dead and gone, but so that the stories, they know the stories, which we all have. You guys out there have them. So I was just pondering the other day and told Kitty, well, I'd just do a Idaho Hillbilly story time. So I'm going to start off and just tell some old stories, all the way back from my grandpa and some, from back then to up till now. So I guess we'll start off with an old hunting story with my grandpa and my grandpa, my uncle, and my dad. They're out. My grandpa always told me, my mom and dad divorced and all that stuff, way back when. But my grandpa always told me, we're out hunting when he'd tell the story and stuff. He always told me, he said, man, of all the people that he hunted with in his whole life, he had never hunted with anybody that seen more deer than my dad and never shot one. So man, he tells me this, and then we go on with the story. So they're out, actually just outside the camp. They got their deer camp. It's my grandpa, my Uncle Scott, and my dad. And they're out there, and my dad wanders off to the side there from the camp, and he's got to relieve himself. So he's standing over there, and he's doing his business, got his stuff whooped out there, and taking care of business, and yells over his shoulder, yeah, watch this, KD, I'm going to kick this log, and deer's going to jump up. And he kicks the log, and when he kicks the log, a big old buck jumps up, and they're face to face, and my dad, his stuff's hanging out there, and he's jumping back and forth trying to get out of the deer's way, and the deer's jumping back and forth like this trying to get out of his way, and finally he clears like this, and the deer jumps over the log and runs right by my grandpa and Scott, which they're rolling on the ground laughing so hard that nobody even shot the dang deer. But that's what this kitty's laughing over here. So that's one of many stories with him and the hunting, my dad hunting. Another one with my grandpa. I love my my grandpa's just was everything to me. Another one with him, my Uncle Scott, which is his boy. They're up hunting, and my grandpa's favorite was the road hunting, man. He loved just driving the old mountain roads, and just putting along, and he liked, well, what he really likes is road hunting, and he'd take us way up on the top, drop us off, so that we could run down the draws, and then he'd drive back around, drink his coffee, and watch him to see if we kick some deer out to him. That was his favorite. But anyway, him and old Scott are going along, and I don't know exactly how old Scott was, but fairly young, and they're driving along, and man, there's another truck coming, and so they're driving along, and Scott's all, Dad, there's deer right there. Grandpa, he just kind of pulls over like this, and he had an old travel-all, an international travel-all, and he pulls over the side like this, and Scott slides out the side, it's kind of got the door kind of slid out, or they're coming this way, yeah, and he slides out the side door, and as they're going by, and Grandpa just waves as the truck's coming by. Well, Scott, he's kind of weaseled his way out, and right as the truck goes by, he just reaches up across the top of the pickup, and as soon as the truck that was going by clears, he goes, boom, and he shoots, and this deer just rolls down the hill right behind this truck, man. That truck, man, they slam on their brakes, and they jump out, and what the hell are you doing? And my uncle looks at him, and he's all, shooting deer, man. I just love that story, shooting deer.
Shooting deer.
So there's a couple of just old hunting stories, so we'll see how those go. That's some of the ones the kids I got, we all got stories and stuff, but the kids always want to remember some of them. I'll jump ahead one. I'll do one more story. This one's actually in our motorhome days. if you follow me or watched any of our videos or you know, my Facebook and all that stuff, you know that we took the kids, that when Kevin D was a year old, we all moved into a motorhome. We lived in a motorhome for about 5 years. We traveled around doing flea markets and swap meets and all this kind of stuff, you know, all over the Northwest. And man, we were set up in Donley, Idaho, which actually is only about 35 miles or something from me now, but we were set up in Donley, Idaho, man, and the shows were bad. Man, they'd been bad, and man, we were stuck in Donley, Idaho. We homeschooled the kids and everything, you know, in the motorhome and all that. And at the time, people were always, you know, criticizing us, which, you know, now they think it was all hip and cool. I probably have a TV show. But anyway, back to the story. So man, I mean, busted. You know, we're just making enough. We were buying food. What were we paying for a can of tuna at that little market? $2.45. $2.45 for a can of tuna.
And what year was this?
What year was that?
That would have been about 99?
About 1999, 98 or 99. And so we're stuck at Donley with this deal, and there was a free campground down by the lake. So we'd, you know, set up in the weekends and stuff, and me and Miss Kitty would make, man, we'd go and, man, we'd find driftwood, you know, and rocks, man, and I was making these Indian axes, you know, and just anything just to get by. So we're down, so set up on the weekends and then go down to the lake. Well, man, we were right on the lake, and there's a group of, you know, young kids and stuff, just obnoxious, man, just drunker than crap, you know, down on the docks, which is down below us there. And, you know, we just kind of stayed in our camp, you know, you try to ignore them kind of people and stuff, and sooner or later they go away. So they ended up going away and stuff, and every night we'd go down and, you know, swim and stuff. Because, man, it's the middle of summer, you know, it was hot. So we go down there swimming, and I had these, just these little goggles. Man, I'd have these goggles, you know, and I'd go swim around and stuff like that. Well, man, I dive down, man, and I'm swimming along, and there's a fish head laying there on the ground, and all of a sudden I'm swimming along, and I see money. I see this bill, and it's doing this on the ground, man, and I'm running out of air, so I just grab it like this, and I come swimming back up, and I go like that, and it's a $50 bill. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, man, I can't believe it. So I ran up the bank up there to Kitty, man, and I go up there, and I just found $50 on the bottom of the lake. You know, and old Red, he'd been following us, because Red followed us for, what, 3,000 miles or something. And he's just, oh, I can't believe you, man. So I said, well, hey, man, we'll go down. We got to go down and get some, you know, some more food and stuff. And I said, okay, well, I want to go dive in one more time before we run out of here. And so, man, I go and I dive down. Man, and I'm swimming along, and I see that fish head, and I swim along. And, man, on the bottom of and it's down in the silt, and down on the bottom of the lake, man, there's doing this. And I reach down, I'm running out of air again, I reach down, and I grab it. And, man, I go swimming back up, and I go, boom, $50 bill. And, man, I'm just, by this time, you know, you got the kids and Kitty and Red, they're all out on the dock. You know, Red's just can't believe it, throwing his hat, you know, just, wow. So, man, we jump in, we go get us some more food and stuff like that, and like Miss Kitty was fixed, I told her, well, I want to go swim around some more. You know, so I went and I dove down, man, and I swam by the fish head, and I'm swimming, you know, and I'm not seeing no floating, money or anything, but then all of a sudden I see the end of a fishing pole, man, so I swim over, man, I grab the fishing pole, and I come up, reeling the pole in, and I come up, and Red is just, that's it, Red has had it, man, he takes off, man, he's all stomping down the dock, can't believe it, and I reel in, and I set up 2 days later, and I sold that fishing pole for $50. Man, we gassed that motorhome, and we got the hell out of there. All right, so there's a little hillbilly story time, and we'll see how that goes, and we'll do some more. All right, y'all have a wonderful night.